You're listening to the Light Over Time podcast with David Sargent and Korey Bartos. It is July 10th, 2026, and I'm spiraling. I'm absolutely spiraling. So we have a crazy episode for you today. I'm going to try and kind of get into it nice and strong. But first, how you doing, David?
I'm doing well. I think I'm doing okay. I think you've got a little more going on at the moment.
It's a little crazy. So I have been basically gone since June 16th. I had the lead up to the wedding, the honeymoon, 4th of July, and now I've hit the ground running at work. I have an all-day range event in Mount Pleasant tomorrow. I have another one next Saturday. It's chaos. I turned 34 this month at the end of the month. I'm going to Ohio to see my dad and my uncle. And then in the beginning of August, I'm going to Connecticut SWAT Challenge. So everything's crazy. Yeah, pretty wild. Okay. So I think I've decided the way we're going to do this show is we're going to get into a couple of David's folders here because they're relatively light. We want to hear about what he's been up to, and this lunacy will ensue afterwards. So I'm going to go over to the photo share. I'm starting with June 7th in Harlow Lake.
Yeah.
So
for me to kick it off?
Yeah, give me the skinny. Let me know what's up.
June 7th at Harlow Lake has to be probably one of the most memorable shooting experiences I've had for 2026. When I spoke about wanting to get better quality light, I got it on June 7th. I roll up to Harlow Lake. I think it must have been about 6 a.m. The light there, it takes a minute because you're like the sun has to come up over a ridge a little bit. So like it doesn't really get first light. It really doesn't even get light for like 20 minutes. But when we got it, there was so much fog, it stayed good for a good while. So I pulled up to the spot, got unpacked, and I just, birds are chirping everywhere. They're flying all over, and I see the fog, and I got excited. So I got up to the first little rock spot that kind of overlooks the first part of the lake and just watched as everything flew around me and immediately noticed eastern bluebird. And I don't know why, but I rarely see them. I know we have plenty of them around, but I just get so little time with them.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm just not where they are, so that explains that. But they're landing on these trees, and this is my second or third time back at Harlow Lake to do bird photography, and I'm realizing like, oh, these trees in this environment is really what I was wanting to step into more. I mean, where I go at Lake Angeline, it's more chaotic and a little more messy. And here I was finding nice isolated trees with a lot of deep backgrounds. And these trees have like lichen and moss all over them. And with the light coming through, just hitting it and highlighting that, I was just like giddy, just so much to work with. So we got the eastern bluebird there.
This is gorgeous, and we'll take note because this will come up very shortly as this is your 500.
It's gorgeous. Yes, we have this warbler. I think, is this a chestnut-sided warbler? I cannot remember.
Kind of looks, I see the chestnut here, so that's probably fair.
Yep, chestnut-sided warbler, and this was momentous for me because I have seen people like Ray Hennessy and other people that I follow who have caught warblers giving out that warbler breath.
I mostly see the red-winged blackbird, so this is really cool.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure I've seen Ray's warbler, so it's really sweet to see it on, and not just like a myrtle warb or something. It's like something kind of cool.
Thinking of Scott Keys. Ray doesn't do the close-up stuff so much anymore, but I think he's got that in the past. But regardless, I've seen it all the time.
One of these fellas with lucky enough to capture the breath. No, I saw you. This was in your story. This is super cool.
It's not even like a crazy good shot. It's a fairly boring setup here with just what he's on, and the light isn't even like as good as it was that day. But when I saw it on the back of the screen, because I didn't see it in real time, I was like, no way did I get that. It's just, it takes those conditions. It's got to be humid enough. The light has to be filtered just enough. You got to backlight it just right. And it could have been a much better situation for me here, but when I saw it, I was just so elated. So finally, I got some warbler breath. Very proud of that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And if you go on just Instagram or wherever and search that up, you're going to see way better shots of it than me, than what I took. But I'm very happy that I finally got it because I've been doing wildlife since 2015 or so, 2014, and it's not something I've tried for forever. But to get it was great.
Yeah,
We got
you'll get there eventually. Like, I'd love to get. I mean, ever since I saw the first Red Wing Blackbird one, I think it's so sick, and I've seen it in a video too, which is insane. But
well, like I said, if 2026 is the year for me to be focused on good quality light, it kind of starts there if you're going to get that kind of stuff anyway.
for sure.
So if you're going out in crap light all the time, you're not going to get that anyway. So anyway, this is really representative of the light we were getting filtered in. So you can even see the streaks of the shadows as it passed through the treetops in the background.
Right, through this fog and everything.
I thought actually highlighted something special about this image was the background more so than the bird in the foreground was what was going on behind. You can kind of get an idea of the kind of environment that I was shooting in. I think possibly a flycatcher on that tree. It's very small and I can't quite remember.
Yeah, that or maybe a kingbird, but it looks smaller than a kingbird, so you're probably right. Yeah, peewee or a phoebe. But anyway, cute.
As we go forward, again, we're just working with this light some more.
Yeah.
Goldfinch.
Crispy. Yeah, it looks like a
American goldfinch. Again, playing with the lichen on these trees, the light coming in, the depth between these trees and the trees in the background. It must have been, I don't know, between 50 and 100 yards between this tree that these guys are on and the background of trees.
Yeah.
When you have that much depth, you don't need a 600 f4 to blow out everything behind, right?
Yeah, seriously. Really, it's cool. Excellent. Yeah. Super sick.
So yes, capturing these with the 500 millimeter PF, really enjoyed my time with that lens, but it did come to an end as we were going through these images, and you can just kind of go through the rest of them.
That's
by the time I got to the end of shooting this morning, I noticed my focus was being a little weird. I noticed that it would kind of hard stop at like 80% through the focus range towards the end. And I was like, what is that? And then I would have to manually shift the focus beyond this point. And it kept
the tones
stuck.
And stuff in this are sick.
I know. Isn't that crazy? So Tony and I were here on this day. He met up with me a little bit.
Actual Jurassic Park going on right now.
I have never run into sandhill cranes in the woods.
Sure.
I know we're close to a lake, but they're usually like
hills and fields and stuff, or on water.
They're on like rocky terrain.
Yeah,
just
cool.
roaming around, and we just like ran into them. I'm like, oh my god.
Velociraptors.
So I don't know if perhaps that they had found the deer carcass from before.
Velociraptors.
And maybe they were picking that apart. I don't know. But it was very cool to run into them.
It's a very cool shot of one.
But anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, where were you with
it?
So it was locking off a little bit, and it was being like sticky,
there was some physical block that it would get to about 80% at the end of its focus range, and I'd be like, "What the heck?" Because I couldn't focus on. I think it was a bald eagle, like way out in the distance. I'm like, "It's not sharp. What's going on?" And I noticed like there's a small amount of wiggle in the housing on the front. And I don't know if that's related to the focus motor, but it was like there was more play than I ever really remembered. I never have dropped that lens, nothing ever. Like it maybe, I don't know, I just use it a lot. So it gets moved around a lot, but I've never dropped it, never anything. A little play, it was sticky in the focus, and I realized like, interesting, if I move the manual focus ring, I can push it past that point. And then it would and then I could rack it back with the back button focus. But then if I pushed it again, it would get stuck again. And I was able to repeat that quite a lot. I don't know what it did, what happened to it. I tried firmware updates, and I realized the 500 millimeter PF never got updates. The FTZ adapter was updated. The Z8 was updated. Nothing software related was wrong. So I sent the lens in to MPB, and I sent in the Viltrox 135 lab, and I sent in my drone, which I haven't used in a while. It was a Mini 2, so it was due for an upgrade anyway. And I sent in my Nikon 50mm 1.4 because it's one of the least inspiring 50s I've ever owned.
Yeah, for sure.
I was fine letting that go. I actually enjoy using the 40 quite a lot more than that 50.
Yeah.
So with all of that, I waited. I got a quote. I looked at the quote, and MPB diagnoses like issues if it sees an issue with your lens, which is kind of handy because I also think that they have a repair facility for themselves. Like if they're going to take that, they may as well get it repaired and then resell it, I think. Or they might sell it as spares and repairs. Just depends on what they can do with it. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But they quoted that there was a focus motor issue, and that's nothing I was ever going to fix.
Right.
And this is the risk you take when you buy an older lens secondhand. I was literally listening back to our last episode today to just get a little refresher on what we last talked about. And I was just glazing the lens, dude. I was just like, oh, it's so nice. And you're like, oh, it's so sharp. And yes, I know. I really did like that lens, but all I can do now is appreciate that I had it and move forward.
Yeah.
So I took the $500 hit to the value, which I actually was quite surprised. It still left me with almost $1,000 of value on the lens with a faulty focus motor, which is like, okay, come on, it's a secondhand DSLR lens. I'll take the money and go.
You could have fixed it and then resold it and then got $300 for it or something like in profit. Yeah, that wouldn't have been worth it.
Right. So I took the money. I am sad to see the Viltrox 135 go. I got a few images I really liked off that lens, but I talked a little bit about it last time. Just a little too bulky and a little too niche for me to want to put it in the bag often enough for me to justify keeping it. So
with the 85, right?
If I didn't have the 85, it would be a different story.
Yeah. But the 85 is what, probably half the size, more or less, and you can take it like just in case you might want to use it. Whereas the 135, you take if you know you're going to use it.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't feel too bad about it. I'll just kind of also miss that image quality that was superb, and maybe one day I'll own one again, but not anytime soon.
Well, next time you'll get the 600 PF or like the 800 or something.
Yep. Yeah. However, in the meantime, because I really wanted something for Tawas, because we were coming down and it was like incredibly poor timing that this would happen. And I think that was June 7th I noticed, and I sent everything, and probably was about 2 weeks before, it was really down to brass tacks. And so we took the money and got the Nikon 180 to 600. Very nice lens. I have thoughts. So everything you just looked at was 500 millimeter PF, but if we move forward, we can look at some stuff from the 180 to 600. And you'll notice we go from June 7th to June 19th. I can't remember.
This is the 28th.
Oh, okay. We have stuff from wedding weekend, but this is also 180 to 600. So this is a question mark butterfly. That's the name of it. Didn't realize. I never knew what a question mark butterfly was, but I thought, wow, what a cool moth. And I took pictures of it. And that's that. It's called a question mark butterfly. Sure. So using this lens, I've posted some stories. I really do like this lens, and it reminds me a whole lot of the Sigma 150 to 600. A whole lot. It is versatile. It is internal zooming. It is nearly the same weight as the 150 to 600. And I do value that. I would be lying if I said there was no difference in sharpness, though.
Right. Yeah.
The 500 prime lens is sharper. Just that's all there is to it. That said, it's plenty sharp, and I can absolutely live with it.
Yeah, so this is an excellent showing for me, seeing the back of a smaller bird. Because
good crop.
Yeah, and I was worried because you had told me this. We were kind of talking about it or whatever, and then I saw a post online, and it seems like some people have kind of lost the lottery and got some slightly softer than should be 180s to 600s. So I think you said something, I have some thoughts, blah, 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 at one point before the wedding, exactly. And I was like, oh no, I hope he doesn't have one of these lemons, but it doesn't look like that's the case. It's just not the same thing.
No, I think you and I and people who do this are just ultra critical, right? Yeah. And so when you go from, it's even the same thing when you go from like, I don't know, a D850 to an A7 III, and you notice the difference between megapixels. It's like you notice those tiny little differences in critical sharpness. And I noticed that. And you have to shoot it, and you have to sit with it, and you have to understand what those trade-offs are and what they really mean to you.
Yeah.
And I can absolutely live with like a nearly imperceptible to everyone else difference in sharpness, to get the gain of the versatility that I absolutely loved in the Sigma 150 to 600, right, that I loved in the Nikon 200 to 500, and even the Tamron 150 to 600 from way back in the day. Yeah. That zoom versatility really means a lot, especially for a lot of what I do, which is not just like small birds that are far away. I do landscapes and things. And remember when I was shooting the fog from Lake Harlow before, and I really wished I had something like 70 to 200. Well, now I can go back to 180 if I want to and get the landscape shots from far away.
Which is huge. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into some of my stuff shortly, but I found myself racking to 200 and taking some plenty of landscapes when I was out there, when I was out west. So we can kind of split this into two ways. We can kind of get into, so we're getting into basically my wedding weekend. It was very nice that you hadn't had the opportunity to go to some of my favorite birding spots that I've been frequenting the last couple of years, and then you came up Friday, so you could essentially check out. You went to Tuttle, Marsh, and Tawas.
Yeah, we went to Tawas that night, Tuttle, Marsh in the morning, I believe Saturday morning.
Perfect. So we can get into some of these highlights, and then I think we'll just kind of dog through all of my things. But I'm excited to see some of this stuff because it sounds like you had a good night and morning. First of all, this guy has a toupee.
It's the gray catbird. Yes, sir. I mean, you definitely have the spot, dude. Tawas is. I knew it was good. You don't know how good until you're there and you really see it. Just you pull up and it's just everywhere. 360 views of birds bouncing around all over the place.
Yeah.
And so you kind of just like take your pick and go wherever you want to go, and you're going to get something good. So it was really fun, just like doing the loop, going around the lighthouse and exploring the landscape. What a unique landscape.
Yeah, it's a really interesting. So it's a point, and the interesting thing about it is that it juts out just far enough into the lake that all the birds migrating over the big lake basically have to stop at it. And it rolls, it's like a big rolling dune that kind of splits a bay and the lake together. And it's just hilly enough, and it just has enough like biome change across the whole thing that like even if you're not in, like, say you're maybe older or you're not, you don't have a lot of stamina to walk very far or anything, it's really friendly to just about anybody who wants to walk it because it's not brutal. It's nice trails. It's really well manicured, but each of the little sections have little turnouts, little side trails, little, benches and things. It's super sick. Because if you just sped run it, you could probably walk there and back in like a half an hour.
Easy.
But you can stay there for much longer than a half an hour.
I could stay there all day.
Yeah.
It is a remarkable, just the amount of wildlife that's condensed in such a small place. It is. Yeah. I've not been to a place quite like it. It's really, really great. So we got tons of birds. I mean, there's tree swallows everywhere, eastern kingbirds everywhere. There's so much to choose from. There was so many deer. I couldn't believe it. I'd like you to take a moment and look at the shutter speed of these deer images.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
These are with the 180 to 600.
At almost 600.
This is at twilight, right? The sun's down. The sun's gone. I have just dusk light to work with. And so I channeled my inner Ray Hennessy and was like, how slow can I get these shutter speeds? Even as it was like walking around.
150 is crazy work.
150, right? And that's as sharp as it would be at 1/500th.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's the VR in the body and in the lens talking well together.
I would have to assume so. Yeah.
Because that's ridiculous.
Very happy with that. And if you go to the image, this image, you see the row of ducks and ducklings in the foreground. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
I just confused it for the reflection of the thing.
To the image to the left, and they're not there. So
that's super rad.
I timed that because I saw them coming by, and I was like, I'm gonna line this right up. So I thought that was cool.
That's crazy work at 150 of a second for this shot to even happen.
Right. So
nice job.
Again, just a remarkable landscape. You've got marshes in the middle of this peninsula, little pools of water everywhere. So the deer can drink water, and everything just kind of lives and intermingles. It's crazy. So the first evening was fantastic. There was and we did we tried to do Milky Way. We obviously got the Milky Way here, but it's a difficult thing when you want to do Milky Way downstate.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like in the lower where you have private property just on every inch of shoreline, basically.
Yeah.
So this is just a public park and a marina. So we rolled up and got what we could, and I was actually quite surprised how easily we were able to see the core of the Milky Way through the light pollution.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did some good work
This is
there.
great work for the Viltrox. Hot damn.
I know I just got done last night doing some Milky Way stuff with the Viltrox, and I was quite pleased from what I could see on the back of the screen. So it's a worthwhile lens for multiple.
It appears to be punching above its weight class here. This is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
That's hard work right there for sure. And yeah, I mean, setup. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. And then Tuttle Marsh. I know you talked about that too, and there were birds around, but for whatever reason, they were just not very active. So we didn't have a lot to work with. It was a nice conditions. We had this like stormy clouds coming over, but it wasn't raining on us. So we had like sunlight hitting things.
Yeah.
The only notable thing was the bald eagle there. So we had a nice little
I should have mapped it for you. So if you take the drive and you wrap around that little area where the bald eagle stays, there's a little parking spot.
We did go there.
And then did you walk all the way back there?
No, it was like dripping wet from dew, so we didn't do the walk.
That's a bummer. So and I imagine the ticks back there are bad, but we basically call that Warbler Way.
Okay.
And like we saw a Sora there, like
cool.
Which like right when we were leaving, right next to the parking area. But there's like it goes out and basically lollipops into basically like a grass cul-de-sac. And then you're at like 360 of trees, and we find sapsuckers, like every warbler that goes through there. We've heard nighthawks out there. Like it's pretty wild.
We didn't waste our time because we ended up just going right back over to Tawas anyway. But had I thought to, I would have brought the waterproof pants, and then it would have been doable. But we just didn't want to ruin ourselves that early in the morning.
That's fair.
So back to Tawas. Piping plovers were nesting, and they're on eggs on their nests, so they're all caged off. But I was able to find one that was roaming around outside the caged off area, so that was cool.
Heck yeah, always cute to see up there.
And lots of different things were flying around. I think these are mergansers. But I also had images of black tern, which I'd never seen before. And
cool.
I do realize they're around. They're up here too, but not usually on Lake Superior. They're more like northern Lake Michigan.
Sure.
From what I'm hearing from other photographers. So I don't really have images of black tern other than that day, but
that's fair. We get them off of just off the beach there at Oscoda where the wedding was. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they are fun to watch. They're kind of like a tern that don't really know how to be a tern, and they're more like seagulls.
Yeah.
And they don't like dive like common tern. They go like 3 feet up and just slap the water.
Yeah,
I think it's so funny.
They're like awkward. Yeah. They're super funny. Yeah, Caspians and commons and stuff will do they're basically fighter jets fighting fish. But yeah, the black terns are just kind of like, I don't know, dude. I hang out with ringles all the time. Like I only know how to ringle.
They're just in disguise. And prothonotary warbler, I was able to actually spend a bit of time on, I think, 2 different sessions of being at Tawas with a prothonotary, which was my first. That was a lifer for me, so that was nice.
That's super awesome.
Yeah,
they're usually so high, but they're always so loud, so you can find them. But man, they're usually the sharpness on this lens is crushing right now. Like this is
and just know I didn't actually use the Nik sharpening on any of these, but I did use the there's a little tab for lens sharpness optimization in DxO.
Okay.
And that seems to do just enough of a trick sometimes also.
Okay.
So I did that. But no Nik sharpening. So the sharpness on this lens is totally adequate.
Yeah, and this doesn't look AI and stuff too, which is really brutal. When I'm seeing people's posts on like bird like Facebook groups and stuff, it's so miserable because all of this ends up being that like swirly AI looking thing.
Crunchy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, even with added sharpness, which I add a little bit of texture and a little bit of sharpness to all my birds as well, this looks really natural and just super nice.
Yeah, very pleased so far. This is obviously just a different shooting experience, but I'm glad with what I'm getting so far.
Yeah.
One great egret. He was fun to kind of watch a little bit.
I love egrets.
Yeah, so we had a pretty good time at Tawas.
A thrasher boy.
Yep, brown thrasher. What folder are we in? Is this 1920 still?
Yeah, this is 19 to 21, I believe.
Oh, okay, 21. Okay, I included the last ones.
Yeah, so this is
what was this one? It's a wren of some kind. It's not the winter wren, but it was a new one for me as well. It's not a Carolina wren. It was like a North American wren or something like that.
I don't know.
And it was totally, that's what Merlin was picking up on audio, and then I found him, so I
Sure.
assume I didn't go back and actually like confirm with a picture, but
Yeah,
uh,
I'd like to know what it is. I'm not sure that it definitely. I mean, it could be it looks Carolina E, but it looks a little off. It looks like more light colored and.
Yeah, he didn't sound like a winter wren, which was interesting.
Sure.
Brown thrashers were pretty fun to.
I like brown thrashers. I always think they're so
They're
cool.
such an aggressive looking bird. And then I found one birch tree where it was clear the tree swallow was kind of nesting in. So there were multiple that were flying in and out of there.
That's
this
super
one was
sick.
a very difficult photo to edit. I don't even like the edit of this shot.
Sure, yeah, just because
those are just very flat.
Yeah.
But the birch was basically blown out, so I had to deal with it. I could have cropped all that highlighted stuff out and just made it real tight on the bird and maybe edited it a little bit better, but I thought it was just a cool documentary shot of because you barely see them land anywhere anyway. These tree swallows are so hard to watch, but
if you get them, you're lucky to get like a really clean one where it's like on a branch, but if you're hanging around them, you'll see them on boxes all the time. Nobody wants a photo of it on like a swallow box, like or a power line. Nobody wants to see any of that. It's pretty bad. So
cool.
So I came into a lot of images like this where they were super flat in out west, and I guess just for our viewers' sake, I'm gonna do a little bit of kind of my quick and dirty what I do with masks.
I was never gonna post this, so do what you want.
No, I just think it's fun. So I found that adding a little bit of dehaze one way or the other, depending on the shot. I'll always subtract select subject. That'll get rid of basically all of it on that, which is epic. And then I always motivate this stuff that's washing out all of my things. Sometimes I'll motivate it into the foreground. This one I'll probably do it into the background, and I'll show you why I like doing this. So
explain what you mean by motivate.
So like when you're doing if you're setting a scene for video and you're trying to like light the room and light the character, you'll want to use what would naturally motivate the light. So like if there's a big window, there's a chance you'll probably like actually block off the window because you want controlled light, but then you would use your artificial lighting to have this like motivated element from whether it be a practical or a big window or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm basically using the light that's already coming this way. Gotcha. I'm softening it up, and then I would do the same thing where I select subject and subtract it. So now I have this dehaze coming this way, and then this like softer, less crunchy. And what it does is it just makes that background at least not super flat, right?
Yeah, I believe I do the same thing. I just didn't have the same words for it as you. I just did it this way.
Yeah. I just I've been doing a lot of this stuff, and I just wanted to. I wouldn't have been able to make this photo any better than you did. This is challenging as hell, but as far as masking goes, especially with birds, getting this kind of situation when you have these blue skies or these white skies and stuff, it's really easy to overdo. Mm-hmm. You'll see it all over Instagram where they basically just make it look like it's just a totally edited image, and I've been really working hard to try and figure out how to like do this in a relatively natural way. But then you can always just come in and then select your actual subject, get some contrast in there, make it pop a little bit, things like that. But then that's where you'll probably want to dodge and burn to actually get this tree to not be flat. Anyway.
I could take a lot more time on it, but I just don't think it's that great of a shot to waste my time.
No, for sure. I love a tree shot where you can cut it like this. And I love it. Are you doing like 2:1 for like all your stuff now?
Oh, Mike, you got me on it hard, man. It's crazy. I can't stop.
It looks super good. It's unfortunate that it's like trash for Instagram. But I
don't really care about that. I like that you can carousel mixed with 2x1 now, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's super dope. But yeah, this is a cool spread, especially because like your time in these places was relatively limited. I think
we went like a total of 3 times for maybe 2 or 3 hours each.
Right. It's not like you were just like banging out multiple days of like 6-8 hour days, but
no.
Yeah, you got some cool stuff. I hope we can work out doing like a bird migration day or something next year.
Yeah, Tony and I were talking about it. We would love to come back again, more towards like last weekend of May or first or second week of June would be great. There was a little info board on there for like migrations, and it looked like we were like almost a full month past peak. Even though we were seeing crazy stuff, it was just like, oh, this is actually slow for this
Yeah.
this area now.
It was right mid-May, I think, is when it was
Yeah.
like, I think May 19th or even May 9th, maybe. I can't remember. It was one of those two
Yeah.
where it kind of peaked off. But
Yeah, it was very productive for me. So I very much appreciated where you got married.
yeah, for sure.
Thanks for having me down there because I had a ton of fun.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. Well, I guess with that said, we can kind of start. This is going to be pretty disjointed. There was a lot of things that were going on, but I find it to be, kind of interesting that we'll use what David shot, kind of as
Oh yeah,
as
you
a.
didn't have to pull these in, but sure.
No, I'd like to. I don't have anything from Esther yet, and I don't have anything really that I shot, so I'm just going to kind of use it to kind of set the stage for what the wedding kind of looked like, and then I'm just going to blast through this. So,
Sure.
we worked really freaking hard to get this wedding together in the way that we did, and it turned out beautiful. We had a handful of friends to come help us, like with decorations. I was surprised not only by my dad showing up, but Cody, who's still fighting his pancreatitis really bad. He's actually in the hospital right now. He had an operation today. He was able to make it and do a best man speech and like pal around with us for a little bit. Some of my best friends of all time were able to make it, including you. And it was cool that Tony came through.
Yeah.
But it was the right amount of people. Everything went without a hitch. Super grateful for basically everything. I had a custom suit that was super sick. All the squad rolled through. Like I said, I'm not too concerned with any of this. We came out to Danza Kuduro as one does.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of rain and some stuff for like a split second, but otherwise
What you got was just like it was great.
It was the good luck rain. It was
the good luck rain.
You need a little bit. My floor that I botched.
People were eating too, which was fantastic. Like the ceremony was bone dry. You did good.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. So that was kind of the backyard. I built that arbor with my best man. I can't remember if I showed that or not in previous episodes. But yeah, we had, it was a good freaking time.
And I don't know if you saw this, but most of these are with the Thypok 28.
Yeah. It was pretty sick.
I came through with that lens. I think the 40 and the 85, and just kind of had fun with all of them.
Ben Sonskrim, my G. But yeah, it was cool to have all these people here, and Maxwell and Shanika came from Maryland, which was sick. Carly being a dog. Anyway, my mom and Elle talking. It was cool to have a lot of really cool people there. You only get married once, hopefully, right? Yeah. And then some skibber action because he's a G as well. He actually cleaned up the entire tent by himself in the evening. He cleared all the tables, put all the candlesticks together, all the napkins. He's a wild man. And then he hung out till like 3 p.m. the next day and helped me and my dad clean up a bunch of other stuff. He's just an absolute gem of a person. Awesome. But anyway, so leading up to this, we were basically, paying for all of these things. We got a decent amount of help from our parents for one thing or the other, but a large majority of the decorations, all of the vendors and everything was covered by Elle and I, and graciously hosted by her father at their beautiful little home in Oscoda.
What a great spot.
It's an incredible spot. Beach access, huge backyard. We had access to a little bit. We could overflow into the neighbor's yard, so that was really nice. But leading into this, I had a lot going on in my head. So I had reached out to OM System Cameras to borrow a OM-1 MKII, the 12 to 40 f2.8, which is basically a standard zoom, which is 24 to 80 f2.8, but a micro four thirds, and then a 150 to 400 millimeter f4.5 with a 1.25x teleconverter built in, basically their Big Daddy wildlife lens. And it was wild. Okay, so they said yes. It was really cool. They have a program that I'm not special. I don't work with OM system cameras or anything like that, but they have like loaner like opportunities if you reach out to them. And so, did some paperwork and things like that, and they just sent it out. And you get it for a month. You get the system. I spent a lot of time from about 2015 to 2018 on Lumix GH4s and GH5s, so I know that I like Micro Four Thirds cameras. I've gotten some really spectacular stuff. I have a book of shots from Japan, and in that, a lot of it was a 12 to 35 f2.8, which is basically Lumix's version of the standard zoom.
Yeah.
And always had great results. So I was really excited to hopefully do as much, standard shooting and wildlife shooting with this thing as I could. Couple of things with that. My life was chaos. So we're going to start here. So I get the camera, and for a couple of days, I'm starting to shoot it. And going through the menus, it reminds me kind of like older Canon mixed with some Panasonic vibes for the menus.
Before we go too far, can you give me, because I don't even know still, is the OM-1 Mark II? Is that what you said?
Yeah. OM-1 Mark II.
Is that their like top
flagship
body? Okay, because I didn't know where it lied or how however many lineups they actually had. So
sure.
It's like you can't get better from them.
It can be really confusing because Olympus is a company that is now like med imaging and stuff like that. They are no longer affiliated with the camera brand at all. Right. So OM System is not OM Systems, not Olympus, is kind of, they have not rebranded, but they've kind of sorted out their lineup from some models that were Olympus cameras, and then they're hopefully working on kind of branching out from there. So the OM-1 Mark II is kind of their highest end. It's just above $2,000.
Okay. But
here's some of the things that make it really noteworthy. There is some of the best stabilization that I've ever used in my life. Definitely world class. The autofocus is something that I've never experienced, which I'll get to in a minute. It has really great, because of the stabilization, it has really great super high res mode. I didn't use it a ton, but you don't really need a tripod, and you can get these like massive images from it.
It uses the VR to help super high res mode. Wow.
Right. And because it's a 20 megapixel sensor, and I think it does something, it's like over 200 megapixels or something, I think. It's huge.
Yeah.
But it has pre-capture, and it has 120 frames a second in electronic shutter. So it's probably the only thing really that can contend with my A9 III experience, because it's the only other camera that can even hit the spec of the A9 III. Now, it's a smaller sensor, but I can tell you that the stabilization far superior to Sony's.
Wow.
To the tune of, I'll start here with this unfortunate JPEG that I'll get into. This is at 1/25th of a second at f/5.6 at ISO 200. It's at 500 millimeter, which means the teleconverter was turned on, which means this is 1,000 millimeter field of view that I'm hand holding out of a window. So I'm inside the house shooting this.
What is the weight of the total system here between camera and lens?
I didn't weigh it. It is almost identical. Hard to tell a difference between my Sony and the 200 to 600.
Yeah, okay.
So they're almost identical. If anything, it's a little lighter or better balanced. It's one of those two things.
Okay.
But perfectly tack sharp. Yeah. Not a single issue. Yeah. At 1,000 millimeter equivalent. And this isn't cropped. It's a 4:3 sensor, so that you'll see that a lot of the images are more square if I don't crop them.
Sure.
So this thing is stacked. It has its own log for video. It shoots all the FPSs in video that you would want from like a normal standard camera.
I think pre-capture in RAW?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it does the thing. I think it's called Pro Capture or something like that.
Sure.
I don't have the thing up, but I'm really impressed. My experiences with Lumix were nowhere near this because they didn't even have phase detect autofocus at the time yet.
Yeah.
But for instance, I literally, without half pressing, I bring the camera up to my eye to get this hummingbird, and the second it hits the top of the frame, a white box goes on it, and I'm not half pressing. It just goes, that's a bird. and it just knows there's a bird there. And that's remarkable. That is something that I've never experienced, like that good and that sticky. Like I was moving around like this and whatever, and it was just like, that's the hummingbird. Is it? And I had it in bird autofocus. But there's so many menus, and you go through them horizontally rather than up and down, kind of like the Sony, if that makes sense. So I'm like going through, and there's I just see that there's a mode, and it's like RAW plus JPEG or RAW, and it said RAW. And I was like, okay, so it's all set up. We're good. I set up some other things. I set a couple buttons or whatever. I'm good to go. So for the first couple of days, I didn't realize that that was not the setting. I'm shooting in large JPEG, which sucks because this is fine, but I'm at ISO 200, which I believe is base ISO. This is not base ISO, but you can start to see it's a little muddy. It'll be more egregious in some other stuff. And this isn't an OM system problem. This is JPEG not set up in the camera how I want it. I didn't adjust like what it's doing for noise reduction. So if I crank the ISO, it's going to add a bunch of noise reduction that I wouldn't want, that I wouldn't get on a raw file. It's just going to bake that in there, and you're not going to be able to get any of that back.
Yeah.
So somebody else took this. This is just fun. It's me and my dad, relatively out of focus, talking. Again, my dad completely surprised me. He was basically telling me that he wasn't going to be able to make it for a lot of different reasons I'm not going to get into. And we were pretty cool about that. But I am grateful for, it was probably Elle who grabbed this, and I have these photos of me and my dad hanging out and drinking. So that's pretty cool. He's one of the best people ever. The very beginning of the trip, which I'll get into in a second when my cat stops yelling, Elle had been trying to get a red-headed woodpecker. And apparently they come in droves over to Tawas. So the couple of times we went, people were like, oh, you missed them. There was like 40 of them that just flew over. And she's like, you have to be kidding me. And I literally am going to the bank to deposit some of the money from the wedding. And this is from the parking lot of the bank at 1,000 millimeters.
Okay.
And super sharp.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it does look good.
Super easy, crazy reach. Like 1,000, it's just, that's ridiculous. This is going to be a little disjointed because I'm going to go into more of the actual trip. But we were driving, and there was a bald eagle on the side of the road next to a deer carcass. He was originally down in the grass, and then we drove by, and I got out of the car. I like slammed on the brakes, jumped out. He hopped up on that, and I was like, that's epic. Unfortunately, both haze back there and this noise reduction kind of makes it a little gross, but I'll take it.
It looks like heat haze from a vehicle. Were you close to the car?
I was close to the car. I think it was hot, so I think the sun is actually just hot. This doesn't look like heat haze quite as much. This looks like the noise that I'm seeing in some of these other images.
Yep.
But we were heading up to Duluth after the wedding. These are JPEGs from just like out. There was a culvers, the most beautiful culvers ever. There's a fish jumping in the area. Oh no, that's not a fish. That's a seagull. We have another one. I think Elle got a fish jumping, which is epic.
I would believe you. That kind of looks like a fish.
But yeah, so just some pretty nice, like, and again, I still think I'm shooting raw right now. I didn't find out that I'm not shooting raw yet. So I was like, oh, these are going to edit so well. They're going to be beautiful.
These are still your JPEGs.
These are just JPEGs.
Okay.
And so I very minor little things, but I wasn't trying to push the JPEG hard. So like, I'll take these because they're gorgeous. These are nice straight out of camera. I'll take that. This is gorgeous, and this is a JPEG. Like,
the light and the flag is beautiful.
Got a little, everything. Some layers, dimension, buzzwords. I got a kingfishy in the same exact spot, which, if you know me, that's one of my favorite birds of all time.
Here we go.
I don't even remember where this was. This was on our way up to Minnesota. We saw a kestrel on the side of the road and stopped. We were driving down a dirt road.
Oh boy.
And she goes, that's a harrier. And I have her literally do the moonroof and stand out of it, and I'm going slowly down this dirt road. This is after we go to Camp Thunderbird, and I'm like trying to shoot out the window. And so this is a JPEG still. This is before. And he's really getting tormented by him or her. It could be a juvenile or a female. a woman, if you will. And then I have this one of the bird screaming.
Got it right on the eye on the last shot. That looked really good.
Yeah, dude, the autofocus is nuts. I'm driving a car.
Yeah.
The camera just gets the bird. It just knows it's a bird, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it, brother. I got you. Super epic.
Yeah. Let's not forget you're also operating a large vehicle.
Yeah, but it was on like a closed dirt road. Basically, there was nobody ahead of us, behind us. I would normally just stop the car and pull over.
I trust no lives were in danger.
Yeah, well, maybe else. She was sticking out of the moonroof, which was not wise.
Look at this guy.
We saw a couple baby foxes on the side of the road. Hers are raw, mine are not. So hers probably look ridiculous. We got some yotes when we entered. I believe this was entering Teddy Roosevelt. This is the night of getting into Teddy Roosevelt National.
I like that entire image, just the background being the hills back there.
Yeah. Again, this is actually only just under 400 millimeters equivalent.
On the wide end, really.
Yeah, right. And then this was the only shot of a lazuli bunting that I got the entire trip, and it wasn't even raw. Still sad. Looked for him everywhere. Missed a couple more shots of him later, but absolutely beautiful bird.
That's tough when you got like nice light and it is dynamic, so you've got hard shadows. You really want the raw file. Although you've exposed for the highlights, and I would have done the same if I had only one choice.
Yeah. And I edited this one slightly. But anyway, this was probably my first bison shot. And I was really bummed out because, again, it is just like really muddy in a way that I don't love. And you can't really do, when it's already noise reduction and stuff, I'm at ISO 1250, which is not a lot, but with that small sensor, 1250 is pushing it. You're getting into like higher ISO. I will say I shot this pretty high ISO throughout this trip, and it was good. Okay. But anyway, I figured it out the next day right after Teddy Roosevelt. Like, I was like really bummed out, and it kind of killed my vibe. I'm sure that my messages to you sounded way more dismal than it really was. I was just so bummed out.
I know you were.
But yeah, so let's get into I guess we'll just stay to the OM system. This is going to jump around a ton, but then I'll blast through kind of, I have the road trip kind of chronologically for the most part with some highlights, and then I have our actual wedding photos that the whole plan the whole time was to go out west and take wedding photos because we wanted to elope originally. Okay. So we wanted to get her dress and my suit and everything like that and rock that in the mountains, and we did that.
Yeah, and I saw plenty of it in the stories. I mean, really
we have a ton of deliverables. So anyway, let's get into some of these. So I think this was starting raw.
Towhee?
This is a spotted towhee, not an eastern towhee. Okay. And yeah, cool guy. This is a beautiful shot. Again, this is a very small sensor. So, having that much blown out and everything, and this is at 473 mil, but I was pretty close to them. The macro capability, not macro, but the close focus on the system is ridiculous. Cool. Because again, remember with the smaller sensor camera systems, this is still a 100 to 4 or a 150 to 400. So all the physics involved in making it a 150 to 400 exist, which is, it's way easier to make 150 to 400 relatively close focusing. Once you start spreading that zoom range out and making it way more telephoto, then it gets harder and harder and harder. Right. But 150 to 400, no problem.
What would you say the distance between him and that background is? Because that is just absolutely cream.
That's a cliff. That's massive. That's hundreds and hundreds of yards behind him. Yeah. Okay. This is a Say's Phoebe, which was a lifer, which is pretty cool. But this is a much closer background, and you can tell that I kind of did a little bit of like clarity and stuff on the background. Sure. But it was still within a good realm of blurriness. This one I didn't do a ton. Again, it's just really far back there. But now that I had it raw, I was starting to see, okay, this is very sharp. The glass is super, super sharp, as it should be. It's an $8,400 lens, which is insane. And yeah, so again, relatively close to the subject, and I'm zoomed all the way out, f8, 1250.
Okay. Yeah, it looks good.
So trying to sharpen it up a ton. Another one of my favorites, Zero Axe Wing. You can see at 1250 with these recovered shadows how that
Yeah.
smaller sensor is not going to handle that quite as well as one of the full frame cameras.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that you have to be cognizant of when you're using the system.
Is that treated with any noise reduction or just as it was?
I don't really do a whole lot of noise reduction. Honestly, I don't really go through and use like the AI stuff. I don't use the sliders. I'll do some stuff with some of the other non-animal things, but this background I'll generally throw a mask on and use that noise reduction slider just a little bit, as well as like lower the clarity and lower the texture a little bit to smooth it out.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't go too crazy with, because I don't like the like muddiness that happens with noise reduction.
Totally.
So I'd rather have the noise and the grain than.
I understand that. Yeah.
Especially with this, because you can see again 1250 in his eye and stuff. Like it's
Western Meadowlark.
Yep.
Nice.
Pretty cool. Always eating a big old bug.
Yeah, that's a good shot. I like that a lot.
And the sagebrush is so beautiful out there. It's super, super red.
That's awesome.
This was in the Bighorns. This is a wild horse.
Yes, it is.
So there's I didn't realize that he was next to a giant pile of poop, but so there's this basically the last of this breed of Spanish horse, and they have a couple of identifiers on their like back end and on their hind legs and stuff like that that kind of show that they're the last of this branch of horse, which is pretty cool. I'll have some other photos in here of wider, but there was a baby, and this was like the stallion with like, I think there was probably 5 or 6 other horses total. But they were just hanging out. I definitely thought it was like somebody's horses. And then
Did you catch any of them running?
No, he was not cool with anybody, period. So we kind of like just tried to stay as far away from them and take some photos as we could.
Yeah.
And they were kind of grazing and chilling. But yeah, some like mountain running would have been sweet.
I'm wondering, as we're going through these pictures, with what the capabilities of like speed and focus are with that camera, did you, we'll get there, but were you able to do like high speed action stuff with any of these animals at all? Like in-flight stuff? I mean, the Harrier we saw.
Yeah, I'll have to see. This was a trip.
Yeah.
So balancing where are we staying so we can get dolled up and go to the mountains to shoot.
Yeah.
We really didn't get into real wildlife shooting until like the second day of Yellowstone.
Okay.
So this is still kind of sightseeing and running around and like stopping to see a bird
This
and
is
like
good sightseeing. You're doing it.
It's not bad. So this is mountain bluebird. They're everywhere and gorgeous.
They're cute.
I believe this is actually somewhere in the Tetons. I'd have to. What day is this? Yeah, I believe so. Let's see where we're at. So no, not quite. So this is a Wilson's long weird name. Starts with a Phila something or another.
Interesting.
I don't remember, but he's cute.
Rope?
Yeah, something like that. But he was a lifer. I've never seen him before. There was a couple of them next to this little gnarly lake. There was also an avocet, same lake. Getting into some longer stuff. So this is actually by Grand Prismatic. So I still had the OM here, taking some like long shots of people with the plumes, birds, plumage, plumes of smoke. So that's pretty cool. Again, these mountain bluebirds are everywhere and gorgeous.
Pretty.
It's just cool.
The gradation of that light blue to the white on the stomach there.
Yeah, it's a little neater than seeing, I'm used to the bluebirds here, the eastern bluebirds. We get them like crazy in Kalamazoo, so but they have that like chestnutty tannish color.
Sure.
Some elk off in the distance with just tons of layers. This is at almost 200 mil.
Oh, let's look at this image because I was first drawn to the highlights on the top. Can you zoom in to the right there? Yep. Very curious if you consider that like chromatic aberration or not.
I probably would consider that nearing blowing out.
Sure. Yeah.
And then me pulling the highlights down and then adding like declarity. Because I I didn't experience it with anything else.
That's why I asked, because I didn't notice CA on anything so far.
Yeah, and I didn't correct for it. I think that's just gonna be because the sun's setting that way.
Yeah, okay.
So that's just hard light, and this was relatively dark. I actually recovered a ton of shadows, and this is not bad. This is ISO 2000, 1/60th of a second, and at f9.
Are those elk?
Yep, those are elk.
Cool.
Which is cool. Love some elk. Here's some 12 to 40 stuff of my preset. So it's funny, she's still like in her makeup and stuff because she just switched over so we could start doing some stuff.
12 is a 24 field of view, right?
So 24 to 80.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically just a standard zoom.
Yep.
So this is at 24 mil basically. Nice. Equivalent. This was our Harlequin duck that we got last minute. Eric Schaefer actually said to go look at the Yellowstone River, and you might be able to find one of these, and we found one. as we were heading to the Tetons, we were parking, and it's rainy. I don't know if you can see the rain here. Some of these shots I have, it's like raining. And we're like parked over. We've been stopping every time we see water and just like seeing what the ducks are. And I go, hey, what's that guy right in the middle? And she pulls in. And we're like, that's him. And that happened so often this trip with like what we're trying to find. We got so lucky so many times. But anyway, there was all these swallows everywhere on every body of water, all out west. But it was cool to see some of those. And then this guy, just this gorgeous duck, who apparently I guess lives in like Vancouver, Alaska, and like out west. And will sometimes go on vacation out to Yellowstone, which is pretty cool. In the Badlands, we got a baby goat, a baby bighorn, which is adorable.
He's camouflaged.
Yeah, we wouldn't have found him. There was some people with some big lenses. There was a woman with a 600 mm f4 Sony G Master, just a cool $16,000 lens taken. She was like, yeah, maybe the 600 prime was a little overkill for the goat. And I was like, well, I would probably be using that too if I had it. Again, still OM systems. So, I'm getting some really, really good stuff. After being a little irked by my own issue with the camera, and then just like trying to power through. This is in the Badlands still, so this is later in the trip. We saw some burrowing owls, and he actually flew over to another mound, and I didn't even put it in this. I should have, because mine's blurry, but there was a couple of the babies popping up over. And I think Elle got a photo of them. So
nice.
Be on the lookout on her ornithology page, because we'll do that. I'm near certain I'm still going to try and sit down and figure out how to organize like a proper recap of this trip, because I'm really just doing it based off of the photography part and not really what we were doing. But and then on our way back, after a 20-hour drive from the Badlands back to Oscoda, we stopped in northern, I think it was probably northern lower peninsula Michigan already, somewhere in the state forest. But she was like, oh, it says Kirkland habitat, and we stopped and we got one. So we got a Kirkland. I
remember driving by that, actually. I was going to turn in there as well on our way out.
So it took us about 8 seconds. He was just hollering. Normally they're in the bottoms of the trees, so it was cool to see him up here. I
believe they nest on the ground.
Yeah, they do. And there was tons of flies, so I think he was probably chomping. But yeah, so we got one real quick. Not a good shot, but I'm not really going to beat my shot from last year anyway. I got a spectacular Kirkland warbler last year. So yeah, to wrap for now, because I'm going to make a short video about it to basically say this stuff as well, but I'm really impressed with the OM system camera. I think I'm probably going to rent one from like Lens Rental again, because I don't think they'll lend me one again. But the reason I want to do that is I want to try maybe like the standard 100 to 400, which is tiny, or even the one, they have a 150 to 600 as well, which is a 300 to 1200 lens, right? Obviously, it's not going to be as fast. It's potentially not going to be as sharp. But I think for the price of maybe an OM-1 Mark II used with the 100 to 400, you're getting a 200 to 800 setup. They're not going to be crazy sharp. It's not going to be a Z8 and a 180 to 600. It's not going to be an A9 III. But if you only got like $4,000 or $3,000 to spend, The reach for me crushes almost everything else, especially if you're relatively new. Like for Elle, she would rather have reach in the smallest package possible than like a million megapixels and all these like things. And that's been abundantly clear because I also used a lot on this trip the A6700 as basically a B-roll camera, and I'll get into some of that as well. But it makes me really hopeful that they'll trickle down some of the fast features and all these new alpha cameras to an A like 6900.
Yeah.
Because when I was toiling over the A7R6, the thing that kept making me want it over the A7 V, really the only thing, is the crop mode is like 30 megapixels. And I was like, okay, so why buy a $4,500 camera when what I want is the crop mode from it, and to have 67 megapixels is cool, but really it's that crop mode. If I could do 30 FPS with, basically what would be a 300 to 900 Sony lens, that's what I want. That's what I like. So it was interesting. It reaffirmed that. I don't want to give up on the Micro Four Thirds stuff though. It's really intriguing to me that you can get, some of this stuff. The ergonomics are brilliant. I think the camera's super easy to use. Sure. It's super comfortable. And again, the autofocus and the stabilization alone is insane. Some of the footage, I didn't have any prep for this, but I'll have it in a video. Some of the like clips I got, I'm at like 1,000 millimeters, and it's like, I dare say more than half as smooth handheld as my 600 mil in full frame. Like, it's 1,000 millimeters. Like it's really, really, really stable. It's really remarkable. It's hard to judge without like seeing it for yourself. But man,
so it gives you great access to an incredible range in a fairly small package. And it sounds like the only caveats are if you're already spoiled with full frame detail and dynamic range and editability. That's kind of where the caveat lies, right?
Yeah, I think, knowing what I know, if somebody was like, hey, I need you to go take all the best wildlife you can for $3,000, I think the 60 and 120 out of this thing with pre-capture for way less than any of the Sony stuff is a huge sell for me.
And then you can really make up the extra mile on that with just better fieldcraft, getting out there with good light, knowing your subject, all those other things.
Yeah.
You put those two things together and you make the difference up more than some.
Exactly. The limitation, I mean, I dealt with the limitation for years. I was doing photography and video on the Lumix stuff, all manual focus with Canon lenses for 4 years. And I actually watched, so it was the end of July in 2018 when I joined Sony. And in that video, I literally talk about how I don't care about the autofocus as much because like I'm fine. Like I don't use it. Mm-hmm. And it was wild to hear me say that. And then they launched I actually had a pre-order. Like I nothing has changed. I'm the same person I've always been. I had a pre-order for a Canon R5 because at the time I was shooting photos on an EOS R and I had a GH5 and a GH4.
Yep. So
I actually canceled that pre-order and I went with the Sony A7R4. And then like a few weeks later, they announced the A7S3. And I was like, it's fine. I'm not going to be able to get it until the beginning of next year, which I did. But I have an A7R4 on the way. And it was wild to see that because like, wow, imagine me saying like, I don't care about autofocus now.
Yeah, no. Some things stay the same and some things do not.
Yeah. So super interesting. This was really, really cool.
Looks like a great trip, man.
I think they're a sleeper camera system. I think it's pretty wild. So let's burn through some of this road trip stuff. As kind of lickety split as I can. So
yeah. So does this start on the next day?
So this is actually kind of starting the trip again. I'm like this will be chronological for the most part. So
okay, gotcha.
So we're out in the Bighorns. A couple of these snaps I just included so you can actually see the size. Maybe
that's not bad at all.
But then I remember that I'm 6'9", and
okay, true.
so it's actually really hard to gauge. It's next to each other. They're like the Sony's barely bigger.
Is that the lens hood on like outward?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's really not that bad.
Yeah, so with it off, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
I love the lens hood. I really like the knob on it for some reason.
I missed that. Sigma did that, and
Yeah. It's brilliant. It's super good. My Sony's holding up, but it's not robust.
The Nikon one, that's like the thing I hate the most about this lens.
Yeah, I bet. So this is actually
a beautiful shot.
Yeah, so this is in Teddy Roosevelt, actually, rather, not the Bighorns, and this is with the Sigma 18-50 on an A6700, handheld ISO 100, 1/13 of a second.
Oh, buddy.
Beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
So this was kind of us getting into the very first. It was flatland. Minnesota, like all that stuff until we got to Teddy Roosevelt, and we got there relatively late in the day, and we're just kind of rolling up one of the drives, and I was like, this is what our trip is going to be like.
That's so cool.
Super epic. I think this is like probably the next day, but I included it again. It looks tiny here.
Yeah.
So I'll have to reevaluate the actual size, but yeah, some of the vast, just epic areas. Again, for Michiganders, we do not see this.
No.
So this is interesting. In 2020, I shot my videographer for my wedding. I did his wedding video, and it was in Shell, Wyoming, which is probably 45 minutes to an hour away from this place, which is just right into Montana. It's in the Bighorns, and it's called Devil's Canyon. It's in the Bighorn National Wildlife something maybe recreation area, national recreation area, and so beautiful little pull off to see all this, but some of the astute people who probably don't exist, but like Korey Bartos photography, this will look very familiar because in 2020 I shot this wonderful image that I have printed in my living room.
Look at that.
Of these perfect two boats.
It's the same perspective.
So we did it with our rings.
Wonderful.
And I think we're probably going to print the one with our rings and put it next to the original print because it's fun. I'll edit it to match a little bit better. But
nicely done.
So the Bighorns are really cool. It's crazy windy up there. This is our first set. Here's the horses I was talking about.
Okay, nice.
So there's a baby, and then some females, maybe pregnant. That looks pretty thick.
Maybe.
And then this guy just like a beast mode, watching over all of them. It was so cool.
Wow.
So dress clad, telling her to go stand in the road because we wanted road shots. We knew that, but where are you going to do that in Yellowstone and all these other places without getting killed?
Yeah.
So there was nobody up there when we were up there. It was super windy and super crazy. So I have this. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen it. But I said, "Has anybody seen my bride?"
Yeah.
And so I don't know, just kind of fun.
I like that. That's great.
Did this little set at our first Airbnb stay. And that's a good representation. Check that out. So that's an A6700.
Oh, they are so similar.
They're so similar. But yeah, this maybe inches out ever so slightly.
Sure.
It's definitely longer. This has a longer hood. So
I can see why that would feel more balanced though.
Yeah, because more weight back.
Yeah.
But so we just got done shooting and it was looking like it was going to rain. So we cracked a bottle of our favorite Arca Nova wine. That's $9 at Meyer. And, just did a little couple cute ones.
That's nice, man.
Outlaw recreation area. This place is really cool. Saw some harriers, saw Vesper sparrow, saw a lark sparrow.
Cool.
Then a storm came in pretty quick, so we were getting a little sketched out.
Cool.
Yeah, just peeking over a little hill and taking a shot. This is with the 18-50 f2.8 contemporary on the A6700, and it's just money because again, your camera turns out matters so much less when the shit in front of you is awesome.
That's right.
Some of my cell phone images are nuts. So again, super disjointed, but we're in Yellowstone here. This is if you've never been to Yellowstone, it's basically a giant volcano. And a bunch of the ground is super hot, and there's just like thermal features everywhere. You can be.
Isn't it like an underground super volcano?
Yeah.
Like that's the one that's going to take us out.
Yeah, like if it goes off, we all die. Like
Yeah,
I think all of America's gone. But what's crazy is that like if you don't, you have to stay on trails because there's just like the ground will sink out in front of you and it's just a thermal feature and it'll just boil you.
Yeah.
And the amount of stupid people we saw that were just oh man, like dipping their fingers in it and stuff like that. And it's like you see it boiling.
Yeah.
Elle really wanted to do this hike. She said,
"Are those people out there?"
Yeah, so that's Grand Prismatic. That's the big boy.
Whoa. Oh, there's boardwalks. I'm like,
yeah. So this is what everybody goes and does. But then you're at Plumes and you see like this. You see like one little bit of that. She's like, no, you got to do the hike because then you see the whole thing. It did not disappoint. The hike kind of sucked, but it was worth it. It was very, very cool.
Awesome.
The view's epic.
I mean, having the people there to give some perspective on that scale is perfect.
And it's just unreal, right? Like
colors are so cool.
It doesn't make any sense. It's the wildest thing. And it'll just kill you. Fun fact, her buddy, so she did a emergency rotation out there. That's why she loves Yellowstone so much. She was out there for 2 weeks and worked with the rangers and stuff like that. And one of the rangers, Ranger Joe, who I got to meet, which was very cool, he has a old photo on his wall of photos from his like time at Yellowstone. He's been there for like 20, 30 years or something. And him and a scientist are in a boat on that.
That's crazy.
Insane. I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah. Jeez.
And then again, just from the other side as we're leaving and the sun setting, it's just like, that's just real life. That is how that works.
I'd love to go road trip that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And a lot of it's like drives. It's drives that you like stop at little hikes and you can kind of bop around at and keep driving. So it'd be doable with kids and stuff. It's something to consider. Tons of people had little kid carriers and shit. It was wild.
Yeah.
But again, this is the only time I think I saw a bunch of cowbirds on a bison like that, and I tried really hard to get a couple of good shots of it. And
there's a little one on the bottom left there.
Yeah, flying into the grass.
Nice catch, man. That's cool.
Yeah, super. I handed the A6700 to Elle while I was driving, and I said, "Hey, take a photo of that."
Yep.
Gorgeous, insane, super good. Some baby bison. I think they call them red dogs or something like that.
Whoa.
Just absolute cuties. Wood smooch.
Don't think I've ever seen baby bison.
They're adorable. They're adorable as hell.
Yeah.
So one morning we go out. We're like, okay, we're going to go out to Lamar Valley, which is like the most remote area. It's where all the wildlife is. We're going to go find places to shoot. Little did we know, Yellowstoners are, which I just coined that. I don't know if they call them Yellowstoners, but these Yellowstone people, it was like 5:30 and there was tons of people out there. Little did we know, and we had to stop. This is a teleconverter. This is at 1200 millimeters out of my Sony. These are wolves.
Oh, wow.
This is a pack of wolves that was feeding about 2 miles off the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Crazy.
Wow. Are wolves a relatively common sight in Yellowstone?
Not like common. There was cars everywhere trying to watch these things. There was piles of people up on hills off the road, like with their huge spotting scopes and stuff, trying to just get a look at these guys. So it was very fortunate that we got to see them. It was really cool. It was kind of a hassle, but we did it. Some more Americana looking shots of some bison. Our first Western Tanager, which was one of the primary birds we came out here for. It's Elle's favorite bird. She saw a few of them out there. This is a female. We got really lucky on this little hike and got a few minutes with like 3 of them. I got a lot more shots, but this is not the best time I got Western Tanagers, as Instagram people might know. But this was like the hike. I ended up with a hat, which we will get into, but a Stetson crushable hat that went really well with my suit.
There you go.
Here's another Western Tanager, a little less drab, but still not, money, but cute.
Yeah.
Ground squirrels everywhere, very cute. Flicker, but like yellowed and
Oh
not
yeah,
not
look at
red
that.
like ours. So it's a little different. So technically lifer.
Is it an actual different variation?
I'd have to ask Elle again. I can't
Oh, okay.
remember. I believe it is, but
All right.
it's different. So this is the gate into. This is like Mammoth.
Oh,
This is Teddy Roosevelt, something or another Yellowstone Park thing.
awesome.
Pretty sick. Everybody was like, "Oh wow, he's serious." I ran out and threw a tripod down with a 6700 and was like, "Yep, taking this photo. Get out of my way, fools."
Very nice.
I'm gonna probably drop some of these photos for the photo share that will be in the next episode, but we'll talk about that shortly. Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, man. One of the most epic places we've been. There will be a little bit of that in here somewhere. Bluebird with a squirm. Love the mountain bluebirds. Probably my best pine siskin shot ever.
Cool.
They're everywhere out there, and they're just menaces. They're just usually beating each other up and like flying at your face and like, "Hey, I'm a pine siskin. What's up? Are you looking for a cool bird? Well, you can shoot me." Everywhere. A bunch of butts.
There they are.
I think this might have been the first time I saw elk. So I took a photo, but we were driving and there was an elk jam, which is elk jam, bear jam, moose jam, whatever it is. Something will happen, even if it's a bison, which didn't make any sense because bison are everywhere. All these people would just stop and it'd be a cluster and it'd be awful.
Traffic jams.
Yeah, the worst part of being in these national parks for sure is other people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Great shot of a Swainson's at 600
That's a
and
nice one.
1/50th of a second.
I think I've got 1 or 2 sessions with Swainson's last year. They're cool.
They're pretty chill out there, which was surprising because they're super hard to see here in Michigan.
Ooh.
Not the sharpest I've ever gotten, but it was the only bull elk, like big bull elk, that I got for the whole trip, and it was.
You got a nice dark to light transition there.
Yeah.
It's still a very nice vibey shot.
Yeah, it works. It works for the story and the set.
Yeah.
This might not look like much. That is a grizzly bear sleeping next to an elk carcass.
Oh, that's crazy.
He had been there for 2 days. He allegedly just wakes up, munches on his elk, and goes back to bed. He is living his best life.
Yes, he is.
Next to the river.
He's got everything he needs right
Isolated enough. There ain't nobody going to mess with him.
He's cozy. He's good.
Just a big boy.
I love that. Wow.
I got a Stellar's J. I didn't get great photos.
Those are beautiful birds.
I had to like change and do something, so I'm still at the car. Elle goes and hikes somewhere, and it's really cold, and we're not doing super hot. And I'm like literally yelling for her because this guy's just like there's like 2 Chinese tourists like 2 feet away with their cell phones taking photos of this guy, and I'm like trying to snap these shots really quick because he's a lifer, and I think he's like one of the most beautiful birds ever.
They really are.
And yeah, I got him a couple times in very okay shots, and then he left because I was trying to hopefully see Elle. Posted this moose. This is a very stressed out mama moose with some rain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a look too.
Yeah, that's side eyeing hard. This is out towards the Tetons, hike next to Lake Jenny.
It's a mountain back there. Jeez, look at that.
Yeah, just a little nuthatch boy. Pretty good. We got some good birds. Another siskin looking really, really proper.
Yeah.
Some good shots. A mountain.
And these are all A6700?
No, these are most of this stuff. Most of the wildlife stuff that's not OM is my A93.
Oh, okay.
This is a mountain chickadee.
Nice.
So lifer with a squirm and doing his thing. Pretty cool. Nice clean shot of him.
Yep.
Some more stuff. Just mountains. I really wanted to get a good shot of these guys flying with some good light because they're gorgeous. It's a violet green swallow.
Oh wow! It looked like a swallow.
Yeah, and they're gorgeous. So I got this guy like hopping around on the ground trying to find some food or something, and I have a bunch of shots from him all week, like really bad ones flying or like perched up on a tree, and they're all just kind of bad shots. But this is kind of the best to kind of see them. So I mentioned this in our chat with Eric. That is a magpie with a ground squirrel head in his beak.
Oh yeah.
I should probably put a warning at the beginning of this.
Yikes.
That's gruesome.
That is brutal.
So I wanted to start trickling in some of our shots. So
I hadn't realized. I knew magpie were in Europe and in other areas. I didn't realize that the United States had magpie.
They're all over out there too. They're really pretty birds. I have some other. They have like a nice blue band and stuff on them. They're really pretty.
This is an awesome shot.
Yeah. So this is a pretty cold morning. We were trying to get the veil going. There's some stories that I'll tell in the video if we can actually figure out how to wrap it up well. But basically, we were sitting there we have probably a bunch of shots of me trying to flick it, her trying to flick it, do her thing. Yeah. And I didn't realize that every time I'd go like fix the camera, turn it back on, walk back over, it's like blowing nicely. I am big enough to completely block the wind on the veil. So it was me, and it took us probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes to realize that I was the one blocking all of the veil, but we got one. It looks pretty good.
Yeah,
It's not too bad. She's just a beautiful bride, so that's fun.
Did you just set it up to do a timer single shot, or did you do intervalometer and let it run?
So all of my stuff, and we'll blow through a bunch of the photos of just this stuff in a row, sure. But yeah, intervalometer for most of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Some of it's 50, a lot of it was 70 to 200. A lot of my favorite shots were like between 135 and 200 mil.
Yeah, you're in the right area for it with all that big stuff way back there.
Yeah, the compression really and stuff. Like this is a nice 50 shot. I'm glad I went 50 here. It looks good. This is just a window through kind of the hike on Lake Jenny. I just knew that I wanted to get a couple of these, and they're like just off the path enough that I knew people wouldn't bother us. I wish it wasn't so hot here. I tried to move around and get us a little bit more shaded, but
there's something about the shape of the hat complementing the shape of the top of the mountains that just makes this image really work for me.
Word. Yeah, I definitely liked it. Like I said, I wish we were in shadow and I could have like played with the lighting a little bit better, but you get. Yep. Just a myrtle, but clean. I'm always willing to get better, cleaner shots of very, very common birds, and this is just super, super clean. So
absolutely,
I'll take it.
Opportunistic.
Ruby crowned. We love those boys. We got best dressed on that trail. That was about a 9-mile hike that day, basically, and I was in my suit coat and shirt the whole time. She was in a white dress, not her actual dress, because that would be insane. But and yeah, everybody basically said every time they passed us, "Oh wow, best dress on the trail." I was starting to hurt pretty bad. I was pretty tired. It really sucked having the suit coat and stuff, and I didn't want to pull it off because I didn't want to wrinkle it and get it all gross or something. Yeah. So I kept it on. Thankfully, I switched to jeans, but I'm wearing like Thursday like brown boots, not hiking boots. It was brutal, but I brought it back to look happy in that photo. And I get my just desserts because she's like, "Wow, you're really hurting for the whole first half of the trail." This is probably my best Western Tanager.
That's beautiful.
It's like textbook, looks great. Very happy with it. This was on the Lake Jenny Trail, which was cool. This is probably 10 feet away. I don't know. Very, very close. Just bless you. And yeah, so here's a little bit more zoomed out.
Oh yeah, wow.
And then the light was different.
Such a beautiful bird.
But yeah, so this is the male Western Tanager, and I'm so glad. I think we probably saw like between 8 and 10. I can't remember. Got tons of good shots of them. Very, very blessed in that regard. We were actually at Lake Jenny walking. We were talking some nerdy stuff about cameras. I was going over something with her. She was actually vibing for once. Not that she doesn't, but I get a little autistic and like it's annoying to hear me talk. So I'm doing one of those things. But she's asking questions. We're like talking about some stuff. It's pretty cool. And then a couple of Western Tanagers fly right in between us. One brushes my entire arm with his wing, and they fly and swoop right in front of us, and we get a couple photos of it. It was wild.
Wow.
This is, I believe, the trail, the Hidden Falls, maybe on Lake Jenny. I can't remember if that's what they were called, but gorgeous. We get up there and we crack a little drinky.
Oh, that's nice.
Those are definitely non-alcoholic beverages. But yeah, just a nice shot set up there. And
these are such great images to remember this trip.
We were walking up, and I see this little drab guy on this rock, and I was like, "Is that a dipper?"
That looked like a dipper.
And she goes, "I think that's a dipper." And then I didn't get amazing shots of him. I think I took a video too, but we got a dipper.
But to have the dipper, is that a waterfall behind it in the other shot?
Yeah.
That is awesome, because you usually see dipper like in the next shot, where it's like in a bunch of little chaotic stuff.
Yeah.
What a really cool backdrop for a dipper.
Yeah, it's not a great shot, but it's a good story shot.
I think it's great.
It's cool.
Really cool.
Yeah. Really, really sick. Just again, just turn with your camera and take a shot. I'm pretty sure I just grabbed the A7 IV and like looked up with the 50mm and just like snapped a photo and kept walking.
You're in Skyrim.
Yeah, exactly. Looks just like Skyrim. I posted this one. This is 1/16,000th of a second. I feel like that's overkill. I said 1600 f7.1. Just a moody shot. When you get high up in there and there's like water and stuff, you could have a sunny day and still come up with the moodiest photo ever. So in the latter half of this hike, Elle started getting like some abdominal pains and she was really uncomfortable. So we were stopping every so often, but she stops and she's sitting on a rock and she just looks up and this dude was just hanging out like 15 yards off of the trail. And I was able, he's got a little, it looks like he might've got spiked at one point.
Maybe.
He's got a little messed up eye going, but he's just a little velvet elk boy.
Velvets, yeah.
But
That's
adorable.
cool.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
My grouse.
There he is.
Literally walking. She's still uncomfortable. And I hear a woman hiking. Oh, look at that. It's a grouse. And I was like, that's not real. Like, it didn't even process because I was like, no one just goes, oh, that's a grouse. And then sure enough, it walks just like a chicken across the road.
Oh, man.
And we literally get there. I get a few photos of him.
Oh, that's
gorgeous. Great. Like, just hanging out with the grouse, dude.
Yeah. That's cool.
And this isn't even crop. This is a 24 megapixel 600mm. We get a baby. The baby's adorable.
Oh my goodness.
Just
I don't remember seeing this. Did you show these?
Yeah, that only two. The first one and then that baby post, but it was buried in my wedding photos. And then we got another one a little bit more down the trail. And this is next to me. This is no crop either. This is like he was just on the ground in front of me.
Yeah.
But it was funny. We're like trying to not make a trail jam.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, these are like, we've been wanting a ruffed grouse for so long. And we're like taking these photos. And then we like pointed out to this like couple and they're like kid. And this girl goes, this little tiny, probably like 5-year-old or less girl goes, chicken! And like runs at it. And she gets stopped and it's all good or whatever. But that was right before we saw that there was a bunch of babies, I think, if I remember the timeline. Okay. But there's a bunch of babies and the mom was on one side and the babies were on the other.
It wasn't going to go very far if it was.
Yeah, it was weird. And then, but it was funny because I didn't catch it, but I think, I don't know if Elle has a photo or not, but she saw the little babies trying to like flutter over and like catch up with the mom. Man. Super cute. This was a really cool side hike, just like literally a turnout that would like go, really low off of the road going towards the Tetons. And there was these epic spots where we got broadtail hummingbirds. This guy, I can't remember what grosbeak this is. Baby, are you down there? What grosbeak is that? Evening? A black-headed grosbeak? Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I didn't get very good shots of him. This is probably my best one, and there's mountains behind it, so I'll take it. Sure. I got these mountains with this hummingbird behind it, which is sick.
What a cool pose.
Yeah, I got one of his wings flat and then like that, topsy-turvy. This was another little just like side stop.
Yellow-headed blackbird.
Yeah, right outside of the elk refuge. That's raining a little bit. Pretty cool.
I see that. Yeah, that's cool.
We haven't seen one of these, and they've been reported. I guess they nest. Elle was saying at Nyan King, which is like down by Bay City, where we drive by all the time and shoot.
They're much more rare for sure.
Yeah, so it was cool to see. That was the only one I think we saw the whole trip.
Yeah.
Her view for most of the trip was me driving and being an a-hole.
Look at the longhorns.
Yeah, some longhorns. This is leaving. This is like heading out towards the Badlands now. We got a Swainson's hawk on the side of the road, which was sweet. I pull over and we get a few shots and I get him taken off, which is sweet. Pronghorns everywhere out there. Let's see if this works. I don't know how well it's going to work, but I rendered these out to be small. So hopefully I'm going to try and go through the sequence. So this is how having my 120 on a button is like super sick. So, it's not going to do it. Oh, it might. Yeah. And so I get all of that. He poops.
Oh my goodness.
And then how freaking epic, right?
Yeah.
So that was my first run-in with a hummingbird where I get a good sequence.
Okay.
A house wren, but probably the greatest house wren photo I've ever or will ever take.
That is beautiful. The light gradation, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's motivated by me a little bit, but it is from where the light is coming from and stuff. Obviously, I can't fake it on his feathers and stuff, but But yeah, nice edit, pretty
I
good.
love it.
Here's a second hummingbird situation. Let's see if I can get it to play.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And there he goes. Wow.
And that's 1/64th of a second for that one. So
1/64th.
sorry, 1/640th.
Okay. Yeah.
This one is faster. This is at 1/2000th. This is money right here. This is beautiful. I love the frame. I love the shot. I'm super close.
You are missing out if you're an audio listener today. I'm just telling you this right now.
But like, look at that.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like just unreal. It doesn't even make sense. But and the global shutter is super cool too, because at this, like, I'm not getting any warping. It ends up just being like super crispy images when you have the global shutter plus the 120. This spot that I got that photo in was actually in Casper, which was we stopped for the night at an Airbnb in Casper on our way back east, and this is probably the most depressed I've been on the trip, because Elle wanted so badly to get a red crossbill. I think it's called a red crossbill. I could be wrong, but it's a crossbill. And they were everywhere. We could hear them left, right, above us. We watched a bunch fly over us. We went to this really sick hike. It's called Rotary Park right in Casper. And we went there the night before, saw everything. That's where I got that hummingbird situation. And then we went back in the morning before we left town, and like we had like 10 of them fly right over us. We missed every shot. We couldn't get nothing. It was beautiful, wonderful morning light. But we finally found some in a tree. Well, she did. And this is probably the best photo I got of him. But he's a lifer, and I didn't have a crossbill, and we wanted one very badly.
Yeah, I think it was last spring or the spring before I got a crossbill of some kind in Marquette, which I'd never seen before. And
That's sick. Since. Yeah, no, I'm sure. But super cool. We stopped at this place in the Black Hills as we were heading back. This like little park. Looks like there was a fire stuff. Apparently there was this like, was it a Lewis's hummingbird? Lewis's woodpecker, rather. Sorry. She finds this amazing, gorgeous woodpecker, and we go up. I go probably halfway up. I guess I can point to it with my mouse. I go like up to here.
Yeah. And
she goes all the way around. I think I have a photo of her all the way around, and she's like chasing down this bird because she's determined. She's a wild girly. And meanwhile, I'm like, oh, so I see this bird flying, and she points it out, and she's like, cool, and she goes and chases it. And I was like, oh, but there's one right here. My dumbass was photographing a red-headed woodpecker the whole time. I don't even get Lewis's woodpecker. I don't even get a good photo of a red-headed.
Oh.
And so I wasted all of my time, thought I was being clutch and smart or whatever. I'm stoked to see her photos. It was a hard place to shoot because it was basically a giant bowl, and this dude would be like super far out. So hopefully she got something clean. But look up that bird if you're into birds like that, because what a cool bird. Okay. And then there's a biker guy. There's a mountain biker who had a dog. So I took this photo of her with this dog because the dog's cute. But I would not have mountain biked that. I can tell you what. This is treacherous chaos up there. But he was vibing.
Okay. All right.
On our way, this is the only golden eagle shot I got the whole trip, but at least I got one. We did verify because Elle has one flying, so we checked the pits and everything like that. It is indeed a golden eagle. On that same drive, we stopped and found in the middle of the day, there was just all these nighthawks flying around.
Wow.
So I got, I think I told you when we were in Teddy Roosevelt, she found some, and we like drove back and got them. They just weren't that good of shots. They were fine. We got a couple of okay ones, but not like these. So that overshadowed. Yeah, very, very cool bird.
What a unique shape to them.
Yeah, they're trippy and weird and whatever. So, there's a tunnel across from Mount Rushmore that if you go through it, it's basically a one-way tunnel that you got to kind of share with both sides of the road. But you can shoot through it at Mount Rushmore. This is way cooler than being up at Mount Rushmore. She was excited to show it to me. I wanted to stop because I hadn't been, I think, since I was a kid, and she doesn't care that much, but she entertained me. And I'm glad we did, because it was pretty cool. It looks like there's people servicing it or something up here.
Yeah.
But it was an experience, and it was like not even out of the way. So I felt like we had to do it for the old 250th.
That's cool.
So we're getting into the Badlands. Just a few more photos here. The Badlands are wild. Just like as vast as anything.
Yeah.
That's the dad maybe of the bighorn that we had the baby of.
Was that a collar? Or was it
Yeah, it's a radio. It's a radio collar. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So this storm.
Whoa, this is sick.
Yeah. So this is like sun setting. We're pretty high up for this section, and this giant storm is like going parallel to us.
Yeah.
And this guy, I tried to shoot a couple shots. I'm like out of the car with the A6700. I'm at 50 on the 18 to 50, so about 70-ish, 75-ish. And he was just rolling around and kicking up tons of dust.
Yeah.
And it was like super windy. It filled our entire car with dust, which was fun, but just like super epic, crazy hard light with this epic storm.
Cool shot.
And so here's another one just a little bit later with the 600 mil.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just awesome animals. Would smooch. Would get gored, but would smooch. But then we were in the Badlands, and you already saw the burrowing owls and stuff, and we're feeling pretty good. And it's about 8 o'clock, and we go, okay, well, we could find somewhere to stay in like Sioux Falls or something. But I was like, what if we just like start heading home? I'll sleep for a bit. I'll wake up and I had to switch over the website for work. I did that on my laptop with a hotspot on my phone. I woke up, I don't know, it was like 3:30 or something like that. She had crushed a good handful of hours. I woke up, she was listening to Hamilton kind of quietly, and I turned it up. As if I care about noise while I sleep. I can sleep through a freight train, but she bangs the rest of that out. I crush the work stuff, and then I just like tail it home. Send the rest of the day basically into oblivion, and we make it back for 4th of July.
Nice.
Obviously, I didn't go through everything on the trip. I think that would be insane to do for the podcast. I really wanted to look at the photography and kind of show what we were up to.
Absolutely.
And give you guys like a cool window. There's a couple more things. I was going to go through 4th of July. You have a photo to talk about, and then I wanted to go through the actual photo, the finals real quick.
Yeah.
So bear with us. This is a little bit longer than we would normally have an episode, but I figured I'm actually really surprised it's only an hour and 35 minutes so far. So I'll take it. So if you're into the wedding stuff, I'm going to have to make sure I have a timestamp. The wedding stuff. I'm really impressed with her ability to wake up and get herself together and keep me in the game, because it was a stressful endeavor to do a lot of this stuff. It was wild, but I think we really did go out here and get everything that we could have ever wanted.
I'm so glad.
We shot it ourselves. I had most of the deliverables before we even got back to Michigan. It was wild. So this was in, I believe this was Teddy Roosevelt still. And so,
how much of this was planning at like you knew ahead of time you wanted to be on these places, at these locations, at these times?
So
or was it more like, let's get what we can get on this trip?
A lot of it was opportunistic for where we could find in the morning. Yeah. It would be like, we're in this ish area.
Okay.
Let's try to find a spot here.
Because I know this was like generally the plan for a long time, so I was curious.
Yeah, but we were really going through kind of what she remembered about Yellowstone, and then just our ability we were going to try and see all of it. So we would be on the side of the road changing into all of our stuff and things like that. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, so 162 mil here. This is gorgeous. Just set up intervalometer. This is all A7 IV. I think like 90% of it's A7 IV. Some of them are A6700, which I'll note. But, just typical, trying to figure out posing and like picturing in your head what the frame looks like, focusing on her and then jumping in it, and then like trying to make sure that like a lot of these, I was like, what am I doing with my face? Because I wasn't even in it to be in the photo. I'm like thinking about other stuff. So I had to like remind myself constantly.
Yeah.
Just trying to be really, it was an exercise for sure. It's really cool to do some of this stuff. We knew we wanted to do some under the veil shots. I did some of these with Taylor in 2020 for his wedding. Some of these were kind of cool and they turned out good. Sure. Her just being an absolute babe. some cute little bench shots. This is
What were your favorite lenses to use for these?
so, dude, I think like all of this so far is 70 to 200.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It was just like money. Like these are at 145 between 135 and 200, all of them.
Yeah.
I just played with that. This is even 70 mil on the 70 to 200. It was nice because like there's not really a whole lot out of here that I wanted to be at 1.4 or anything. Like it's about the environment. So,
right. Yep.
This was one that she conceptualized that I really liked, and we kind of knocked out. It's hard to do. Got her hand with this. She actually had this dried bouquet for the trip because it was like as a prop.
Yeah.
And it worked out great. It was a cool addition.
Yeah.
But our hiking boots, I already went through that, obviously. This was where she was running, so we were out here trying to do just like in the road.
Oh yeah.
Cute photos in the bighorns. This is probably my favorite one.
Did you pre-focus on the spot there at the turn?
So I throw her into the frame where I want her, and then I'll focus on her and send it that way.
Yeah.
This turned out wildly good, and this is actually her sitting in the passenger seat of the car. The lighting worked. I can't remember exactly if she was like, "Hey, like let's shoot a photo like this or something," but it was
this is an advertisement. That's awesome.
Yeah, like, and it's one that's going to be, sweet custom jewelry. Her sister and brother-in-law made these rings, so like that's pretty sick. And again, our $9 Meyer wine that we love so much. But yeah, that's the 50 mil. Just a really cool shot. Here's some of the under the veil stuff that I shot with the A6700 actually, with the 18 to 50, and really happy with them.
Yeah.
Like
very cool.
So hard. I should have included a bunch of the like bloopers, because there's a million shots on all of these intervalometer shots where I'm just like doing this trying to get the veil right.
Yeah.
And it was so frustrating. And like these are genuinely like trying to make each other laugh, or like this is just nonsense and we're failing miserably.
You pulled it off though, man. It looks awesome.
It turned out well. These weren't quite as good, so I only included a 2 of them, but they're fine. The under the veil, this was hard and money. And people are honking at us, and like it was brutal.
This is awesome.
This is awesome. I wish I was showing more because I'm stepped down so far, so it just makes my one leg look skinny and me short and awkward. But it's fine.
Oh, it's good.
Everybody loves this one. I thought it was just okay, and then I guess I'm just wrong in that regard because everybody keeps telling me it's like a book cover, or it's like it's whatever. But I like it.
Well, you have the pose and the look down for sure.
Yeah, I'm working on it. This is me channeling Evan Ramala's all the time.
Rim lighting on the hat looks nice.
Yeah, some of these soft stuff. This is all a modified old boy preset. I call it old boy portrait now. Some of these solo ones of her.
We're getting to one where I think I saw this on stories, and I wanted to ask you, how much of that background was fog, or was it not, and was it like depth masking with DxO? How was it so ghostly in the background?
I think it's just a lot of atmospheric haze.
Was it really?
All of this stuff with the 50s, also the Polar Pro everyday filter.
Okay.
So I'm getting a little bit of haze from that, but yeah, it's like overcasty and misty. So this is actually up somewhere in like Mount Washburn.
This is pretty much all environmental doing that. Wow.
Well, we're like 10,000 feet or something. Yeah. We're between 9 and 10,000 feet here. So that's pretty far up. I like the I like the serious stuff. Everybody is like, oh, you got to smile more. I'm like, yeah, but this is what I like. So
this is good.
We got the fun ones, but she actually snapped this of me, which is probably the best photo ever taken of me.
That is a fantastic photo.
I've never looked more dapper in my life. Yeah, when we were looking for a hat, I was starting to feel like I probably wasn't going to find anything I liked, and then she found this one. It was the only one that color. It was the only Stetson that looked like that, and it was exactly my size. So I think that worked out. I think it goes with the suit well. Nice contrast. Again, this is 70 to 200. That's at 98 mil. All these are at like 125. These are cute.
Man, I'm gonna end up with a 70 to 200 at some point.
It's a money lens, man. Yeah. I think these are basically all of these turned out well. I mean, you're gonna lead, and again, up on a mountain somewhere with these just nice old, however old these freaking log little things are. Perfect light. Couldn't have been better in that regard.
Love it.
These were very awkward to shoot, but they were one that she really wanted, and got them sharp, and they look good. And so some more for Sweet Custom Jewelry. Pretty good. This is when we were. This is just outside of Mammoth. This was one of our wedding gifts. Was this like 2-layer thing?
Oh, nice.
There was some other like laying down shots I really wanted to do, but it wasn't going to be able to happen unless I had a 90-degree or if somebody was actually standing over us shooting. It was like up my nose, and it wasn't ideal, but we got one there. That which you already saw, but these are from where we were just laying down, and she loves these. I think they're great. Again, this is 139 mil.
Absolutely.
A little bit of looking away vibes. Me putting her jacket on her. You know, some what do you do when you're getting married, I guess.
Yeah, no, you guys, you executed. Absolutely. Oh, geez, look at this.
So this is 70 to 200, 103, morning light, just a little bit later than morning light.
Oh,
but
man.
Then you get some hot spots from the clouds out on the mountains, some rainy stuff, a lot of depth. I could probably work on these more and edit, but man, I'm super into them.
Like, you got images that you would have paid someone top money for.
Yeah, like this would have been like a $12,000 like elopement shoot.
Absolute money. Yeah.
This is super cool. This is at Schwabacker's Landing. I think I said that right. But yeah, just absolutely breathtaking. She wanted mountains and water, man, and we found it.
You got it.
Yeah.
I don't have much else to say.
Yeah, that's that.
So gorgeous.
That was the one that I saw originally. This one's also quite good. This is kind of just, doing her thing. Some more of those windows, and then I think there's just these were up on that Jenny Lake hike, or just the other B-sides.
I made the comment, are you putting a book together?
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to do, I don't know if I'm going to do 2 books. I kind of really like the idea of cutting together the wedding with our honeymoon. So I'm waiting until Esther sends me everything that she shoots, and I'm probably going to do a book with both of them, and kind of, do something really special with that. And I want to get a big hardcover one, and make a couple copies and like give them to my mom would love one, things like that. So hopefully these photos live on for a long time. I'm probably going to print some of these and put them in my house because they're super sick.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty epic, and that's not even all of them. That's just like my 87 selects. Like there's a bunch more that I can do with them.
You made the absolute most of all of that time.
Yeah, and like I said, a fraction of all of what we got, and we shot a bunch of video. We were kind of vlogging on the way out, and then I was like, what if I just like get B-roll and then we do like a talking head and we can kind of try to slam something together, because I didn't want to be vlogging so much that I was taking away from our honeymoon, and I think that was the right call. Yeah. But yeah, so that was super epic. Everything went as good as it possibly could have been, and we got some crazy images from it. So
happy for you guys. Very cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think after that, I'm going to plug again. So we are going to do a photo share next episode. I don't know. It won't be next week probably because I'm stuck with another big event and I'm going to be pretty busy, but probably 2 weeks from now, hopefully.
Reasonable.
We're going to do landscapes. I obviously have some landscapes to share. But again, you don't have to be out in the mountains to have cool landscapes. Cityscapes, whatever you want to call a landscape. Let's see what you got. LOTpodsubmissions@gmail.com. We'll get that sorted out. I'm going to go a little bit into, I already told the story about like getting back, and we made it to Oscoda. We had a couple of, relaxing days, and then the family came, her sisters and their husbands rolled up to Oscoda again. We did 4th of July. I can go through some of those photos, but I do want to hear the story about the heat lightning.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think Tony sends me a message and says, hey, do you want to go chase some northern lights? And I'm like, Sure, man. Let's go find Northern Lights. And I'm looking, he's much more of like a look out the window and see what the weather's doing kind of thing. And I'm much more of a let me see what the apps are saying for the
Yeah.
next 6 hours type of thing.
Yeah.
And so combined, we do pretty well. And I'm looking at the apps and I'm going, I don't know, man. It's like cloud cover here, cloud cover there, but there's like some partly cloudy here, and our best chances it looks kind of like the Lance area, which is like the crux between where the Keweenaw kind of starts and our part of the UP. So it looked kind of like if we were going to have clear skies, it could have been there. And you see some stars up there,
Yeah.
but we pull up and we sit. And it starts a little clearer than it was here. This is towards the end of the night. We just watched this one little summer storm roll from west to east across the lake on the northern horizon for us. And we just sat there going, guess we're not seeing any northern lights tonight. And there wasn't any to be had anyway.
You saw some lights.
We saw some lights. But the aurora
And they were north.
They were to the north. That's very fair. But this, I mean, it was cool. It's just one of those summer storms that as it rolled by, it was every couple of seconds it flashed and flashed. And as it got closer, more frequent, more bright. So I was like swapping between a bunch of different lenses and stuff. I don't even remember what I shot this with.
This is the Typoc.
The Typoc.
Oh, well, it says that, but I don't know because your camera, you have a setting for it to be that, right?
It is the Typoc.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. The only like variable thing is like the vibration reduction setting. So, but anyway, yeah, the Typoc. I was using both the Z8 and the ZF, and I did like a time lapse stuff between both of those. So if you're following me on Instagram, you saw that a little bit.
Yeah.
I stupidly didn't set it up vertically. I didn't really care to anyway, but
yeah,
very cool to see it go by. A little bit of lightning in the summer. We're just watching it. We didn't get wet, just thunderstorm off in the distance. We like that. No aurora, but we found a new spot to kind of sit and watch a northern view, and which is always good because we could come back there in the future for northern lights. Although there was a street light on the parking lot behind us that kind of cast a gnarly glow, so I'm not sure we would choose that first, but we have it if we want to go back to that spot.
Right on. Yeah, it looks cool. The wildest thing about driving through the flat part of the country, looking at a giant storm, was I saw some of the craziest lightning I've ever seen in my life. Driving straight into Minnesota and just seeing this giant storm at like 4 a.m. It was super nuts. But
and while we're on the topic of the Typoc, anyway, I just got to say the combination of the Typoc 28mm and the ZF is just legendary for me right now.
Okay.
I am loving everything about that. That's like one lens I have not yet regretted purchasing in any kind of way.
That's awesome.
Still the build quality I love. The image quality that I've continued to get out of that lens has been just impressive. Very much enjoying it. I didn't include some folders of things that I have shot throughout here just for whatever reason, but like 4th of July photos with my buddy were almost all with the Typoc lens. It actually was all Typoc lens with ZF up on Dead River Falls. Just an awesome little lens in such a small package for a 1.4. It's loving that lens.
Yeah, I know a lot of the like street, like a more prime only focused people love 28, so it's not surprising that you're getting along with it a little bit. And I mean it you crush it. You take some great images with it.
Like
I'm sure. Yeah, especially if the build and everything's where you like it. Yep. So I'm gonna blow through these because I'm not gonna take a million years on them. But the cool thing about finally getting just time with all of my cameras is these photos eventually become the A6700, and you'd never know. And because I'm running the 50 on the A7 IV, and then I'm running the 24mm on the A6700, which is a 36mm equivalent, which is ideal for me. You put me right between 35 and 40, and I'm happy. But just a little peek into our 4th of July shenanigans. It was fun, lots of cornhole,
looks fun.
Hanging out with the family, basically just like rotating partners. Some of the kids playing some bocce ball. It was fun, and I'm working my freaking preset, man. It's basically gonna be the like look for my family photos for like the next several years, I'm sure, because it's what it basically ended up is. All of our wedding stuff and all of this ended up being just ridiculously dope. But
It's very pleasing look. It's very soft.
yeah, and it's funny because I was talking to Esther, who shot my wedding, and I was like, I really wanted like high key, really like poppy, vibrant photos
Sure.
for my wedding because I don't like the like filmy. Basically, my preset is
Yeah.
like how a lot of people shoot weddings, and I'm like, it's different.
It is.
These are fun for memories and like cool shots of people and things like that. But I'm really excited to have the juxtaposition between my like filmic out westy shots and then her like
Yeah.
really poppy stuff. There's a million spring peepers on the beach, which is sweet. So everybody collected them. But yeah, like I said, just working the old 50 and then eventually the 24.
Nice.
This is my soapbox of pull out your camera when you're hanging out with your family,
Yep.
because in 25 years from now, these are going to be awesome to have.
Everyone is going to love that you did this.
Yeah, it's sweet, and they're great. One of the, I don't know if it's a house rule or if it's a official cornhole thing, but he sunk 4 bags in a row, and you win the game instantly. And he ran out to the lake and jumped in the water right after he did it. It was really epic.
Did I see a story of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of him just like bombing out and running. So that's the 50, and then it goes into some 24 mil on the A6700, and I'm rocking like ISO 2000. And editing them the same. And now that these sensors are all very similar, at least they all do S-Log and S-Anythone and stuff, like they're capable of the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Good.
But yeah, some of this stuff was fun. He was swirling some stuff around. Like, dude, let's go. 1/6 of a second. Trying to get some fun stuff with sparklers, some of the kids.
Just like a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. And like, so we had fireworks going off on like north and south of us up that beach. So that was a riot. And then, yeah, just the family, man. Pretty sweet. I'm in some of these somewhere, but I do exist.
Man, you got a lot of camera use in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, dude, I have so many photos and so many things. So anyway, take your camera out. If you're nerdy like us and you have this dope ass camera, your family will think it's really cool that they don't have to have AI images of themselves or bad cell phone photos. That, I promise you, cell phone photos will look as bad as like 2009 like point and shoots eventually. And like, you're grateful you have them, but they're not like great.
And we will think you're cool because you could join the Discord and post stuff from those cameras in the Discord.
And share them because it'd be sweet. Anyway,
you should do that.
You really should. So we have the Discord. You can reach out to either of us, either through YouTube or on our Instagrams, which are below and everything. And yeah, it's 2026 has been fun. Using cameras a lot more than talking about them. Doing a lot of cool stuff. So
yeah, I think we could take a look at like how these episodes have gone this year versus like years past, and it's a lot more of show and less tell of what's going on in the camera world and what we're doing. So let's keep that train.
I'm very grateful that I figured out how to do it like this and not have to edit in all these photos. Like we just shared, it looks like, I don't know, 614 photos today. So like that's epic. And it's still sub 2 hours. So if you're still here with us, thank you for following along. Wild time. Like I said, join the Discord, submit a landscape. We're going to pump it on our Instagram channels and things like that, that we're going to be doing it. So hopefully you guys are down and want to submit.
You'll probably give them a due date just so we like it 2 weeks out.
2 weeks out. Yeah. So it's the 10th of July right now. We're probably looking at the weekend of the 25th, 26th.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And because it's a different one, I'd like you guys to share an image, and I think I'm comfortable with it being in the last couple of years. You don't have to have gone out and taken a landscape, but I want to hear a little bit about the photo. I want to hear, give me a paragraph of like how you got there, what you're doing, why it's important to you, why it's cool. Because like, some of the stuff from my trip is just like I snapped a beautiful photo and you're like, it's epic. But there's going to be some stuff, even like your lightning photo,
Yeah.
where it's like there was a little bit of a story there. You're out for northern lights, you didn't get it, you got different northern lights. So whatever it ends up being, it'll be cool. I'm excited to see some stuff and talk about it. Landscape editing is probably something we'll talk about a little bit in that episode. Was kind of my plan because it's hard. I like to think I'm pretty good at editing photos. I do a lot of different products and people and like lively things. Landscapes are brutal, man. You can make them look really bad really easily. You can make them really flat. You can make them look super unrealistic. I've had a time, and I've learned a lot just playing with the ones that I've played with so far. So,
well, I think it's a lot of a similar approach for me with wildlife. It's like conditions are first and foremost.
Yep.
Get there with good light, good conditions, and then go. Like go in with a plan for sure, but watch those conditions.
Right. I know for a fact I have some old photos from a handful of years ago that I shot like up in Duluth or something for camp where it's not that cool of a place, but I shot a really cool morning with dew and some low sun, and it's like that's going to be cooler than just one of these flat images of one of these wild mountains. It's like one or two. If you get both, you're gravy. But if you have a really, really cool subject, your photo's probably okay. Or if you worked and nailed all the conditions and captured a subject in optimal, wonderful. Yeah. If you got a spectacular place and you got it in the craziest conditions, that's what separates, for lack of a better analog, the men from the boys as far as landscape photography goes, because it's not my thing. I think I take some cool scapes, but I know you've spent a decent amount of time actually working on some landscape stuff. So we'll talk about how we're going to talk about it in the episode, but I'd like to see some of what you look for, kind of the things that you do to edit. I obviously do a lot of masking on my landscapes, so I'll try to share the raws on my Lightroom to show you the masks on some of my stuff too, because I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, could be a good conversation.
But yeah, anyway, thanks for listening for some reason, if you're still here, all two of you.
This was a loaded one. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one.
Next time. Peace.